Good morning, writers. Today you are going to do my favorite lesson from the workshop book, which is Character Boot Camp. In Character Boot Camp, you will test drive your characters and your scene and find out a little bit more about your characters. Just like people take a test drive with their car, you are able to test drive your character by putting them into a scene, just an everyday normal scene, and find out more about them and see if there's something new or different you want to do with them. A few years ago, I was writing a scene for a writer's workshop, and my teacher came to me and said, Tessa, you should really take your take your character out for a test drive, a scene test drive, where you don't necessarily write something for your story, but something that they would normally do in everyday life, like washing the dishes or going out to eat, or just a normal everyday waking up in the morning and their morning routine. In doing that, I found a little bit more about my character. So you will talk about what your character is going to be first, and then take it for a test drive or a test scene. Remember, for this story, the realistic fiction, it should be something that can really happen. So don't go into the supernatural or fantasy with this writing. This is something that could happen in real life. What you are going to start with is creating a scene. We can write a summary, which is fine, but to best really get into your character, you're going to write a scene. To start with, if you haven't already, I want you to write down a few things in your notebook, and they're on that first slide that says 12/10, today's date. I want you to write the goal and what a scene is, remembering those small things. There are 4 points. Look over them, understand what a scene is before you start writing your scene. And then you want to find out your character traits. What's different about your character? For example, my character is a teacher in another country who, at first, when sitting down, I wanted to figure out what's different about her, what's special about her, and does it have to be a her? Could it be a him? So one thing I wrote was I found a name. I like the name Stella. I think it's just a unique name. It's a normal name for this day and age. And if going to another country, I think other people can say it very, very easily. I think it's, and then I tried to get some characteristics or some character traits of Stella. So I wrote that she has a strong will and doesn't give up. She is kind and she wants to connect to her students. She gets confused easily, which might be kind of fun in a foreign country. She doesn't have a strong connection to her family in the States. I thought that was something different than me, so I'm making something different about my character. And she wants to make friends. So make a list of your character traits in your reader's notebook. Write today's date on the top. Today is the 10th of December. And then when you are done with that, I want you to pause the video now to write the traits, and then come and show me. Find me in the library and show me your list of traits, and then I will check for understanding and give you a token of appreciation. All right, now you should have paused the video and shown me your list of character traits. After that, you are going to start writing. So here's the procedure. What we're going to do is a scene boot camp. I'm going to lead you through this fast and furious writing, getting as much down as possible while you also practice your writing skills. I'll give you a little tip. Then I will model with my own writing. Then you will give it a go. When it comes back to me, and I'll model something different, and finally it'll be your turn to try. Not everything I teach you will be something you will be able to do or will work for your scene right now, and that's okay. Just keep working on the last thing you were working on and catch up with me. Last week, everybody was able to connect and get their one idea for their story. And also, I heard some really great themes that you're going to be building into your story. Knowing that before you start writing the story is very helpful. If you are still in the point of trying to figure out which story you're going to write, make sure you have that before today's character boot camp. All right, first I need to think about my character and the story idea. It's a teacher who is a little uncertain in a new country, and she's also very kind and gets confused easily. So I'm going to start and write a moment. Now, the more ordinary the moment, the better, because the more that your character can be themselves. So make sure that your character is just able to do something that they ordinarily normally do. So I wouldn't write about the very first day of school, because that's a very not normal day. So I'm going to write about going to a favorite restaurant in this country that she lives in. So I just sat down and wrote it already, and I wrote, Stella arrived at her favorite restaurant, the one she knew other English teachers would be at. She saw a small cat outside the door and thought she looked very hungry. She also thought that this is a good place for a hungry cat. All right, so I stopped there and I thought, sometimes I'm writing in the third person here. So it's an outsider's point of view, saying Stella's name. Sometimes writers can write in the first person. So this story that you are going to be writing for me can be either in the third person or the first person, which means either you're saying Stella did this or Stella did that, or you can say I did this and I did that. So I drew a line across my page and I switched to tell the story in the first person point of view. So here's my story. It's kind of the same thing, only in the first person. I hopped off my scooter and took off my helmet. The restaurant I chose today is a familiar place with lots of familiar people. There was a mangy-looking cat that came out of the shadows. Hi, Ricky. What's your day look like? Ricky said, I'm going to Kaohsiung to teach at the university. My college students are writing their narrative fiction papers, and I get to do role play. It's always my favorite lesson. So I put some dialogue into my scene because I wanted to show characters and what their personalities are like when they're talking. A lot of times our inner dialogue can be different than what we say. Keep that in mind when you're writing. And I'm going to keep on going with this writing, and somehow along the line, I'm going to have my character make a decision. I want you to go ahead, get settled in, start thinking about a very small moment that your character might have in their life and write about it. Write a scene. And this is not something that you're using in your story. This is something you're using to create more character development. Already I'm finding out that my character drives a scooter and she notices small things like a cat. In the first part, I noticed that the cat was hungry. In the second one, the cat was mangy. How does that change my character? It's going to be maybe more sympathetic in the first one and less sympathetic in the second one. Those are notices that I'm making, things that I'm noticing. And I want you to feel that way too when you're doing your writing for this character boot camp. If you have any questions, you can review the video that you're watching right now. After that, if you still can't find your solution, raise your hand. All right. Good luck, writers. I am looking forward to what you're going to do today. I've seen some outrageous things and great storylines. I love the idea of people people realizing that they shouldn't be stealing, people realizing that there is no day but today, and live for the moment. Please keep on with your great writing skills and continue to impress me. I love it. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks. Good luck.